Almost Kidnapped, my true life story. This happened to me one crisp autumn morning while I was walking to my bus stop when I was a freshman in high school. I played the cello, still do, and my school orchestra had signed up to play in a local school orchestra festival that day. So I was a bit dolled up with makeup, a nice twisted hairdo, a floor-length black dress, and a pair of shiny flat black suede shoes. I decided to not take my cello and use my school's cello instead to avoid the risk of damage and theft. Well, it turns out that my cello wasn't the only thing I needed to worry about being damaged or stolen that day. I said goodbye to my family as I rushed out the door, binder in arm and backpack in tow. When I got past the edge of my lot, a white, unmarked delivery van without a license plate drove past me and slowed down for a moment, as if the driver was looking at something. Warily, I quickened my pace as I watched the van drive to the end of my cul-de-sac and turn around. I noticed the van was hanging back a ways and going very slowly. I thought, okay, this is creepy, and walked even faster. Then the unthinkable happened. I tripped over my dress and my binder went flying out in front of me, spilling some of its contents. I heard the van speed up behind me as I scrambled to pick up everything with my bloody hands and run away. But it was too late. The van had caught up to me. The driver opened his window. "Are you okay? Do you need a ride to school?" he said. He looked to be about 35 to 40 years old, had ear-length reddish-brown hair, brown eyes, and a skinny build. His eyes were bloodshot, and his movements were very fast, as if he was tweaking on some sort of stimulant. "I'm fine," I said. "Just leave me alone." "Are you sure you don't want to ride?" he called as I walked away. "Yes, I'm sure. Now stop bothering me before I call the police," I exclaimed as I tried to run away. Thankfully, my dad's friend was working in his front yard and came to my aid when he realized that I was in trouble. The creep tried to convince him that he was just trying to help me, but seeing how distressed I was and the fact that he kept following me put up his red flags, and he didn't buy it. My dad's friend told me to run inside and get washed up while he called the police. As I did so, the creep tried to get out of his van, and when my dad's friend slammed the door shut saying, "If you get out of this van and you try and hurt that girl, I will beat your sorry ass. You need to leave now." I told my dad's friend that I still wanted to catch the bus, thinking that being among friends would help me calm down. So he agreed to watch over me until the bus got there. There was one other girl at the stop, and that was of some comfort. But the creep had the nerve to come back. When he drove by a second time, I ran for the nearest ditch and started sobbing. I was scared for my life. I had previously been in a 6.8 M earthquake, and this experience was 10 times scarier than that. The other girl at the stop ran over to me asking what was wrong, and I told her what had just happened. She stayed there with me until my dad's friend raced down there in his truck. We waited until the bus came to make sure that the other girl and the other students who came later got on the bus safely. Once I got to school, I told the campus police officer what had happened and tearfully gave him the best description of the creep and his vehicle as I could. Thankfully, he was caught later that day while I was at school, and I thanked the campus police officer profusely for getting that search started. Turns out the creep had been living in my neighborhood for about a year. He could have been watching me for that long and I didn't even know it. This is an experience I would not wish on my worst enemy. For months afterward, I was so afraid to walk by myself in my own neighborhood that my parents had to walk or drive me to my bus stop and wait, because going by myself meant having flashbacks and embarrassing panic attacks. This creep may not have taken me, but he took away my ability to feel safe, and it took me a long time to gain that back. to the creep who did this to me. Why?